What up, y'all? It's Ro back with another video. In my previous video, we went about renovating the shower from start to finish. So in today's video, we're going to be doing some more renovations in the bathroom, specifically the window. We're going to be tearing out and adding a new window. Also, we're going to finish the exterior and finish the interior of the window. So let's get into the video. Alright, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to break out of jail. Seriously, why are there bars on this home? This makes no sense. I can neither confirm nor deny that I lived in this house that had bars, and pretty much this was illegal during foster care. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about how to remove these bars so we can replace this window. In order to remove these bars for this window, I tried everything, and this Sawzall was the best thing that I actually could use. So what I'm using is a metal blade so I can cut through all these screws and nails, and it's a lot difficult than I thought. I went through about 3 or 4 metal blades to get these bars off this window. As you see, I'm also trying to use a hammer in this process, trying to hammer it out and trying to just pull it off, but this thing is not budging. This thing was super difficult. I've never done this before, so I try to be as careful as I can. Eventually, we got it off. So now it's on to actually removing this window. And the removal process of the window is so much easier than actually removing this bar. So the process I'm doing is taking out the glass, cutting the frame, because the frame is kind of made of like this aluminum material, then just pulling it all off, taking out the drywall, and pretty much get down to the rough opening of the framing of the window. And once that process is done, now we're on to adding flashing tape. First, we got to make sure our surface is clean, and then we're going to add the flashing tape to the bottom of your rough opening. Actually, I did this too soon. I ain't even gonna lie. I did this too soon of adding the flashing tape. We'll come back to it later. Right now, I'm going to take my window that I bought from Home Depot because this was the only one that was available in my area that had the right measurements for this rough opening, but it had this gray material on here. It's not going to fit the rough opening the way that I needed to, so what I did is just cut it off. Cut it completely off, didn't need it at all. I put the window in the rough opening. As you can see, I got a lot of gaps and a lot of space around my window. So what I did is grab some pieces of wood and closed up those gaps. It's a technique that I learned from a guy that I actually hired out to help me do my first window. Now this is the point when you actually add your flashing tape. We're adding our flashing tape to the framing of the window, making sure that the flashing tape on the sides is coming up 4 to 6 inches and making sure that the bottom part is smooth. So right now we're just putting in shims to make sure that the window is level and straight and that it's not going to be shifting anywhere left or right. And once we feel comfortable with what we have, now we're going to screw the window into the framing. Then we're going to seal up all the gaps with window spray foam. Alright, so we finally made it outside. Right now I'm going to cut the siding around the window. I have trim that is 3.5 inches wide, so I am cutting 3.5 inches around the entire perimeter of the window. As I'm cutting this exterior portion of the wall, you can kind of see that I have this foamy corkboard material. This is actually what they used to use back in the day for their siding, and it was just different. It was different. So I decided to take that corkboard material off and then place my flashing tape directly onto the wood. So as you see, I'm starting with the bottom, then the sides, and the top. Now we made it to the portion of doing the PVC trim. I'm measuring around the perimeter of the window, and now I'm taking those measurements and applying it to my PVC trim. After we cut all our PVC trim, now it's time to install. So the way that I'm installing this is just applying the PVC trim up against the flashing tape and putting 2 screws in to hold up the PVC trim. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to put your PVC trim into the space that you have cut out. You might have to cut out some extra space, or in my case, I was able to force my PVC trim into the space, just a little bit of force, not too much. Then I pretty much screwed in 2 more screws into each PVC trim. After that process is done, now we're on to caulking. So pretty much we're trying to make sure that we are covering all gaps and seams so no water could ever get inside of this window. So what I'm using is Dynaflex 230. It's flexible and it's also paintable. So make sure that you're getting the right caulk, that you can paint it, and that it's also used for exterior use. As we jump back inside of the house, now we're ready to start finishing this window. There's a few different steps that we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing drywall, we're going to be adding corner metal beads, and then we're going to also be doing mudding. And then finally it's sanding, painting, and then you're done. So let's go through this process. So the style that I was trying to go for is this modern style for the interior of our window. And the way that I went about doing that is using drywall, corner beads, and just a decent amount of mud, I'll say. A decent amount of mud. So what I'm doing is applying drywall to the wall and screwing it in and then scoring it and ripping it apart. I'm just trying to get the rough framing of the modern style that I'm going for. So as you see, I'm putting it on the bottom, I put it on the sides, and I put it in any spaces that it needs drywall so I can get this modern style look. After I apply my drywall, now it's on to applying the corner bead. And corner bead is pretty much self-explanatory. You put it on the corners of your drywall. Also, these corner beads come in a 8-foot long strip, so you have to cut it down to the right size for whatever wall, corner requirements you're trying to meet. And there's different types of corner beads, but this one I wanted to make sure it was a sturdy corner, so that's why I'm using a metal corner bead. I had to cut each piece down to the right size, and what I did specifically is cut at a 45-degree angle so it wouldn't have a sharp edge whenever I'm trying to put the mud on. Oh, how I hate mudding. Man, it's so annoying. Yeah, it's the worst. I'm not gonna lie. Next time, I'm just gonna start hiring everything out regarding mudding because I hate it so much. It gets messy. Clearly, I'm just not good at it, okay? But I tried it and I'm doing it because I'm trying to also be cheap as well. So, yeah, so I'm applying a first coat of mud, second coat of mud, and just making sure that I'm smoothing it out each coat. And yeah, it came out pretty decent. I had to also finish up some mudding inside the entire bathroom. So now you see more of the drywall up on the ceiling and up on the walls. And this bathroom is really coming together overall. We made it to the point of sanding now. We got the drywall up. Now we got all the mudding up. Now it's time to sand this entire bathroom. And sanding is a process, so make sure you wear the right gear, respirator, and it's messy. It's not a clean job. Yeah, it's a process, guys. So just enjoy the journey and let's continue on. And here is the final reveal of the window. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and until next time, I will see you in the next video.